does go to shit, Kent, you've got that box of Pampers behind you.
We are live. Thanks, Jared, for that incredibly classy interview. You started out with a swear word. There goes the G rating. As long as nobody says the F word more than once, we can get away without being rated R. All right, well, welcome, everybody. This is the 2014 Scrawny to Brawny Winners Roundtable. We have some good conversation for you. I was trying to tackle a slightly different tack on this one. We're going to try and address all people. We're going to try to talk to the people who have just finished and confronted with the what do I do now. We're going to try to talk to the people who are currently in the other S2B cohort, who are at the midway point. And then we're going to also address the people who are just considering trying to get into this for the first time. They've seen the incredible before and after, and they think, I wonder if that can be me. So I'm going to briefly, if technology will allow me, I'm going to introduce everybody with your before and after pictures. So here we go. Our first guest is Drew. And these are his before and after. Our other guest is going to be Jared. This is his before and after. And then, of course, these two fine gents were both $1,000 finalists. And our big winner was Adam, who, of course, took away the big cash prize.
Ridiculous.
And then there's me, who is really nobody. I'm just here mostly for entertainment value. So if it's all right with you, well, good, we're back. What I'd like to do is I would like to just have each of you spend 15 seconds introducing yourself. So tell us the amount of weight you gained on the program, where you're from, how old you are, what you do for a living, and then, because this does figure into the conversation, whether you're married, with kids, whatever. So, Jared, how about you first?
Okay, I gained 43 pounds over the program. I am 32. I live in Portland, Oregon. Transplant from Calgary, Alberta. Software developer, and I am married. I started the program with no children, and I finished with one child.
Was it your own?
Well, the nurse said he looks like me, so I'm hoping.
Good. So. All nice and legal. Drew, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Drew. I started the program at about 160, and at my heaviest I was about 181, so that's 21 pounds up. I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, so close to where Jared used to live, and just north of Kent there. I'm an IT consultant, and I got married during the program, and no kids.
Way to be. Keep it that way for as long as possible. Last but not least, why don't you introduce yourself, Adam?
Sure. I'm Adam. I'm turning 34 in about a week, and married with one kid and another on the way in about 6 weeks. And I work in investment banking in Toronto.
My name's Kent. I'm a mentor with the program. I'm just a general smart aleck know-it-all. 42, 5 children. Don't know why that keeps happening. And I'm married. And I'm an engineer, and I supervise a bunch of engineers for a living. Okay, so just to get things started, just some general chewing the fat and sharing stories. I was just wondering, just in general, why don't each of you? I'll start with Drew, and I'll ask, what's your memorable highlight and low light of the entire last year?
Well, I don't know.
Don't act surprised. It's any of these questions 12 hours.
I'm just thinking about it. I guess the highlight has to be the photos. I mean, you do this thing for a year, and it kind of caps off with the photos, right? You've got your before and after, and kind of hits home that, like, holy crap, I actually made it, and I did this. So I mean, that's for sure a highlight.
What do your friends call you, Drew?
Captain America. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you why. Because I met Drew. We went and we worked out over Easter holidays, and I was standing next to him, and I'm looking up at this guy, and I'm like, crap, you're a very large individual. But anyway, I will throw this at Jared. Jared, what did your friends and family, co-workers, people around you, what did everybody think about this whole ordeal?
It was, for me, I felt kind of awkward. I would come in with these salads that most people, I would feed a small village with these salads that I'd come in for lunch, and they'd ask me why I'm eating so much. And it honestly felt weird to say, I'm trying to bulk. you go around and ask people, what's your goals for the year, and everyone's saying I'm losing weight.
Yeah.
And then one out of 1,000's, well, I'm trying to put on weight. So at first they were a little
It kills
shocked.
the conversation in a room. It's like you can be in a room full of people and one person says the word sex and everybody stops and turns. If you say I'm trying to gain weight, everyone just stops and looks at you.
Yes, so it was a little awkward, but I had done lean eating before all this, and they were kind of familiar with some of the rigors that I had to go through. But yeah, putting on weight they thought that was a little weird.
Adam, what's your highlight and low light?
The highlight for me was definitely finally deadlifting 405 pounds. Got up to the elusive 4 plates. That felt good. And I did that probably the last week or two of the program. And I kind of knew in my, I knew, quote in quotes, that I could deadlift 400 pounds for a couple months, but I never actually nutted up and did it until right at the end of the program. So that was a big accomplishment for me. And lowlights, I think there was no one particular instance, but the general stress on my family life with the amount of time that I chose to spend in the gym was hard. It was hard at times, but I'll just leave it at that. It was hard. There was no counterbalance to that. I just had to choose to do it.
Yeah, but you have $10,000 to try and buy back their affection.
Yeah,
I'm gonna throw this all to each of you, and in whatever order, whoever speaks first. But try to very quickly, in a few seconds or less. Not few seconds. Well, try to keep 15 seconds or less. Out of the hundreds of participants, why do you figure you guys were finalists?
Do you see this square right here? You're missing a marketing opportunity if you don't put this on there. No,
okay,
laughs for that
totally
one.
above my head.
I don't get
Totally
it.
above my head.
Oh.
Completely.
I rehearsed this. I was ready for it, but no, I'm just saying I'm very pretty.
Yeah, moving on.
All right.
Drew, do you have a real answer for us?
I don't know. I just think that I just had the mental tenacity to just grit my teeth and stick through it. I don't know if that's a good answer or not. But
It is. It is actually. Adam?
I mean, I'd echo what Jared said. Like I've come to realize that my defining characteristic is self-discipline. I just did it.
And Jared's defining characteristic is apparently that he's gorgeous.
Yes. Sorry, I'm going to try and save face. Yeah, it was, just to kind of toe the party line here. Yeah, it's really a lot of it came down to just when things got tough, you just put your head down and you did it. And it sounds like we all had potentially little obstacles and stuff to overcome, and it's really easy to quit, but it's it takes some mental fortitude to put your head down and grind it out.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm usually hopeful that that's what I'm going to hear, but wow, we got the unanimous decision, which was stick-to-itiveness. This will be a bit of a roundtable. So I want to talk about sort of the end. You guys have just come to an end. I've actually just come to an end of a major 12-week diet myself. So we've all just come to an end of a big goal. So a lot of people, myself included, come to the end of the big goal and they're really directionless and they're unmotivated when it's done. And there's a lot of backsliding that goes on, and in some cases there's just complete reversal. Do you feel that way? And is there any kind of a letdown phase? Like what's been your experience now that it's done? Who wants to go first?
Sure,
I'll take this. Oh, go ahead.
Hi, Jared.
No, winners first.
I was going to say that the sort of letdown period for me was extremely short. It was a couple days, and I wasn't expecting it, but I definitely had a letdown after those couple days, and it was. I missed the structure. I missed logging in every day, checking the forums, clicking my habits, and getting my green check mark. I actually really missed that. The thing that I realized afterward that gave me the most value out of the program was focusing on just effing killing it in the gym, just executing the plan and not worrying about what the plan actually was, just knowing that I was given my homework and I'd go away and do it. So I missed that immediately, but we'll talk about it later, but I found ways to replace it.
Okay, Jared?
Yeah, for me, it was pretty short too. I mean, like I mentioned previously, I've done lean eating before, so I've wrapped up the whole year-long program and stuff, and so I kind of had an idea of what to expect. So the way I handled it a little differently this time was just looking at, okay, I've done this over the course of the year. How do I feel about myself? And I tried to objectively analyze what I needed to do, and from there, I made my decision, and I kind of chose to focus on doing some more functional training type stuff. So I've started Cressy's high performance handbook stuff.
Cool. Drew, got a final thought there?
Yeah, I'd say I'm still feeling the letdown. I'm right now. I'm kind of assessing what I want to do next. So I'm taking a recovery week this week since we did the strength training last week. So I'm taking a break, and next week I'm going to pick back up again and hopefully, and start on another program. So just taking it easy this week.
I'm more like Drew, which my personal experience after I did my contest, and then again after this last little diet, is I'm just sitting here feeling like really finding it difficult to stay on point with my nutrition, right? Like working out has simply become part of my identity. That's not even a question anymore. Yes, I will go to the gym. That's just a given. But I'm really, really struggling to keep my face out of the candy bowl, and it's a challenge. So what then I want to say is let's go down the line. We'll go in reverse order and start with Drew. Have you got any current goals now? Like, and what is your plan for the next year? Or do you have one yet? Are you still assessing?
I'm still kind of thinking about it, but I'm probably going to land on try and maintain what I've done throughout the summertime. So I don't want to go bulking again in shirtless season, right? But during the winter, I think I don't know, want to try and gain another 10 pounds. I think it's attainable. So that's
Jared?
what I'm going to try and do.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm just going to maintain for the summer. With a new baby coming home, things are going to get hectic. So I'm just going to try and really just figure out what life is going to look like, and how do I fit in my workout time and that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm doing. And then once I get that ironed out, I'll probably try and do Scrying to Brawny again, starting with all the habits.
All right, and Adam.
Yeah, I'm trying to lean out to get to single-digit body fat for the first time in my life before baby time, so I've got another 6 weeks to go, and I think I'm around 11 or 12% now. So I think I can do it. And then like Drew, I'm gonna try to bulk up again on exactly 10 pounds in the fall.
Sweet. Well, here's how I want to frame the question then. So you and all the other guys and then all the people in the other cohort have just wrapped up this program. And believe you me, there are guys struggling far, far more deeply than you three. There are some guys that are considering just throwing it all away and going right back to the way they were living beforehand, because it all just seems like, wow, I'm done this year and I don't have the program to support me, and well, what's the point? Does any of you have any advice for people who might be feeling that way, or maybe somewhere between where you are and that extreme, confused and wondering what now? What might you want to say to a person who's sitting there going, what now?
I think so. I've been reading a lot of Chris. I think it's pronounced Guillebeau. He wrote like The Art of Nonconformity and the $100 Startup. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but one of the big things that he talks about in his books is action is the important thing. You can plan the shit out of your life, but if you don't do anything, you've accomplished nothing. So my advice would be to pick something and start. It doesn't matter if it's body weights or if you want to go do yoga. Just pick something and start.
I like it. Someone want to build on that?
I'd say that, you've made an investment in yourself for a year, right? I think it'd be like a huge waste of your effort and resources, basically, to kind of regress into old habits or whatever. So I just say, take the time to reflect and really decide on what you want to do, and hopefully that would be a kind of positively build on what what you've accomplished over the last year. So I think that's it.
Adam, you want to add to that?
I think these guys nailed it.
The only thing I want to echo what Jared was saying, which was it's important to pick another goal and a big one. You know, quite honestly, if you've gone through this year-long program, you've not just rebuilt your body, you've rebuilt the way you think, you've rebuilt the way you live, you've rebuilt your whole life. You're capable of big, big goals. When you live a big life, you need big goals. So, you know, pick something that challenges you or scares you, and it doesn't have to be a bodybuilding show or anything like that. I mean, it just needs to be something that challenges you and something you can get excited about. That's my thought. But any other parting thoughts around the whole end of the program thing? Then why don't we talk about what I call the mid-program blahs, or what I call the grind. So I got some specific questions for each of you. So I was going to say, I'll start with Drew. To my mind, I think every single person I've ever seen go through this program or any other program of any length, there's this inevitable phase where, you know, the thrill has worn off, because you start out with excitement and everything is pinwheels and rainbows, and you're just running on just sheer excitement. And then when that wears off, you do start to notice some of the quick and easy beginner gains that come, like, you know, you get really strong, and that happens quickly. And then when that wears off, there's nothing left except hard work. And I call that the grind. So what I wanted to ask you, Drew, was, did that happen to you? And what were your thoughts and feelings? And if that happened to you, where did you draw your inspiration from?
Yeah, I'd lie if I said it didn't happen to me. Of course it did. I don't think I ever got to a point where I was like really thinking about quitting, but there's definitely some points in time where I was like, oh, this is tough. I had to really
why not? Like, there are guys that have literally come to Calvin and said, tell me why I shouldn't quit. But that never occurred to you? Why? Why do you think it didn't?
Well, again, back to my mental tenacity argument. I'm not a quitter, right? So, yeah. I mean, there's points in time where I texted you or whatever. I'm like, holy crap, this is hard. Coach me through this, right? But that's basically how bad it got. Right. So I just need a little bit of coaching or advice, I guess.
Cool. So you reached out for support.
I guess so.
Okay. Adam, did you have a blah phase, and what did you do to get through it?
The only blah phase that I really hit was I put on the preponderance of the weight that I put on in the beginning of the program. So I guess it was what you call the beginner gains, and then towards the end of the program, I felt like I was just getting fatter and fatter, and that was hard. But I mean, I didn't ever consider quitting, because I knew it would come off in the end. So it wasn't for me, at least, it wasn't anything too serious. My pants got awfully tight, which I didn't like.
I actually remember the heaviest I ever got was when I was bulking for my show, and I was under, again, strict orders. And I remember just getting really angry one way to work, on the drive to work, about how tight and uncomfortable my pants and my underwear were. And that's when I got into the whole, I literally went out and bought fat pants. Best decision ever.
Did you buy pants, Adam?
Pardon?
Did Adam buy pants?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I've got some fat pants.
I did too, yeah.
Those few pairs of fat pants very, very often.
Everybody bought fat pants, or they lived in sweatpants.
This was my moment when I knew I needed fat pants. I was at work, and I bent over to grab something, and all I heard was
an actual blowout.
Oh yeah, my pants blew the butt out, and thank God I have my gym stuff with me. But promptly bought fat pants after that.
Well, Jared, I do have a specific question.
Suits in. Sorry, Ken.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Really, I'm not the winner here. You're clearly more important. So really, tell your story.
Three suits in 2 weeks.
Really?
And two of those suits were on the same day.
I'm so glad I don't have to wear a suit to work. Jared, I have a question for you, and that's because when we talk about the midstream blahs, a very, very common theme that the coaches and the mentors hear over and over again is that a client will come and say that a major life event has gotten in the way, birth of a child, marriage, a death, an illness, moving, new job, promotions. Often it's positive things, like the marriage or the promotion, but they'll come to us and they'll say, life is getting in the way. This is clearly impossible for me to continue. Actually, this happens to everybody. In a 1 year span, I challenge you to find any single person that does not have any interrupting life events, but never mind. You have a good one. In fact, your story is pretty intense. So why don't you briefly describe your life event, and then maybe say a word or two about how that still didn't stand in the way between you and being a finalist.
Okay. And if you hear some whining in the back, that's my dog. I apologize.
Oh, I thought that was you.
Yeah. She, my father-in-law brought some food out, and she wants some.
Okay.
Sorry. So, as I mentioned earlier, my wife and I had a child, or mostly my wife. I just supported her. But it started all around Christmas, and we were coming back from South Dakota, and she started having some complications. So we had a stopover in Colorado. We ended up going to the hospital. We had to leave the airport, go to the hospital. They're doing all the ultrasounds and stuff, and they check her out and can't really find anything. But we get back, and her doctor pretty much puts her on bed rest. And then, I think it was about 2 weeks later, we ended up going in for another doctor's appointment. And while we're at the doctor's appointment, her water breaks. And at this point, she's 23 weeks and 4 days or something. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with premature babies, hopefully not. But they come in and give you the whole spiel about, well, here's what happens if your baby's born today, and every day kind of counts. And in all honesty, the outlook was very bleak at that point. So my wife and I made some very hard decisions, and thankfully, so they discharged us 3 or 4 days after, based on our decisions, and somehow she managed to keep the baby in till 27 weeks, when they decided to do a C-section. And sorry to loop back a little bit, we ended up checking back into the hospital at 25 weeks. So we're in the hospital from 25 to 27 weeks. She's on complete bed rest. I'm going to work. I'm working from the hospital. We have a C-section, or she has a C-section. Again, I'm just supporting. And so son's born at 27 and 3 or something like that. And so he's actually been in the neonatal intensive care unit since then. So we're coming up on 80 days now or so here. So, and yeah, Drew, you probably heard a little bit of what Kent was asking me at the start, but that's all about asking how Henry was doing and all that kind of stuff. So he's slowly getting there, and his due date is actually this Saturday.
So the reason I wanted you to tell that story is because a lot of guys will, actually it happens, like I said, every single S2B client, any person who ever does any kind of program that's going to take a year has some kind of event like this. There's not many that comes in a stronger flavor than yours, which is, for a long time you're sitting there waiting for the doctors to call you and tell you that your child is passed, right? He's born way too early, and that is hanging over you. And then despite all that, you decide, when the imminent danger is over, you decide that you're going to come back and finish this thing. And you took a top 10. Why? Why is that? Why do you think where did it come from? I partially want to say, I did it for Henry. I wanted to look back and say, this was tough, but if you work hard, it's not always just about being smart, but if you work hard, look at the great things you can accomplish. And it wasn't ideal, but I chose, I kind of utilized some other readings that I did from another book called The Power of Less, and they basically talk about choosing 3 programs. So I basically just pared down what was important to me, and what was important to me, was my wife, my son, and my health. And basically my day revolved around those 3 things, and I just dumbed it down as much as I could, and that almost made it easier, in all honesty. When the shit hits the fan, and because you said it first, I feel okay using it. When it hits the fan, you get down to basics, right?
Yes.
and you
Yeah.
can make anything work if you get down to it.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
In 30 seconds or less, each of you, I'll start with Adam. In 30 seconds or less, what advice are you going to give the guys in the other cohort, Calvin and Craig's other guys, who are right now at that 6-month point, and some of them are thinking, I don't think I can do this. This is unreasonable. What am I going to do? Adam?
Sure. You've got unbelievable coaches available to you. You've come this far. You've made the commitment. You've made a monetary commitment. You've made a time commitment. So don't squander it. Don't waste your time. Just grab it by the balls and
6 feet under and digging fast. Drew?
Yeah, I'm going to repeat what Adam said. Keep going. You're making an investment in yourself. I mean, hard work's not supposed to be easy, right? So you'll be glad you kept at it if you finish strong. So,
Jared?
Yeah. You got, like Adam said, you got great coaches. Lean on them. Ask them for help. I mean, that's what they're there for. Mentors. I don't know if you're doing the mentoring, Cam, but I'm sure whoever they have are just fantastic. Lean on them for support, and let them guide you through those phases that you're unsure of yourself.
Here's something to consider as well. I mean, and this is primarily meaningful to the S2B guys. Every single finalist of Craig's or of Calvin's from the 2 cohorts that I work with, every single one of them were guys who were active on the forums. No one who is a finalist ever seems to be someone who just hung back and never engaged. It's the people who gathered their community and their support and their, brothers in arms. Those are the guys who are finalists. Now, I'm not saying, well, this is the only way to win. You're finalists because you were most successful. The top most successful people in every cohort, they're always guys who engage and who gather support. You cannot do this alone. So there's my plug. So now let's go back to the beginning, and it'll be kind of another round table, and each of you can speak whenever you like. So a really common theme among guys who are just starting a muscle building program or who are trying to decide whether or not to take the plunge is uncertainty. So most of them are concerned about getting started. Oftentimes, as a consequence, they don't do a damn thing because they're so concerned. So did either of you 3 ever feel that way about just getting into this program from the start?
yeah, for sure.
So dig into it.
I don't know. I was considering joining in I don't know, was it April 2013? I was just about to get married in August, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to fit in my wedding suit, and maybe time is going to be too tight, and maybe I'll get fat for the wedding, and maybe I won't be able to lose it, and blah blah. Like the list of reasons, right? But like I'm an analytical kind of guy, right? So it's kind of like analysis by paralysis, right? But I don't know. I'm glad I decided to jump in. So
Adam, Jared, did either of you sit and waffle for some time?
I was on the pre-sale list for like 6 seasons or something. Like it took me forever to commit.
And why? Why is that?
There's never a good time, Kent. It was like Jared, 1 year I'm getting married.
I know. I keep asking the universe to order itself for my benefit, and it just refuses to do it.
Work out that way. I know.
Damn it.
So,
No, but I mean, as much as we're making fun of it, do you know how often I hear that? It's not the right time. I keep asking, and after 6 years, was it the right time this year, or did you finally just say,
no?
Forget it?
This year was busier than any other year.
So why do it this year?
I'm an idiot.
Yeah, but you're also a winner, so that gives you some credibility. No, I mean, I'm drilling on this, and I'm picking on you for a specific reason. I mean, you put it off for 6 years. This year, you decide now. What was it?
The reason
was there nothing?
I had we had our first child last February, and I saw so many photos of myself holding my daughter, looking skinny fat, that I finally decided this is the year I'm not going to be skinny fat anymore.
Okay, Jared.
Just to contradict everyone, it was easy for me.
Because you already did a program. You did.
I did.
So you made that mental link already.
Yeah, and the thing for me is, like, I've always been a little heftier and stuff, so lean eating actually got me down to like weight that I was, almost like pre-high school. but I looked at myself and I'm like, I actually feel too skinny now. And I hadn't actually done a bulk because I was trying to lose weight all the time. So I hadn't done a bulk in like 10 years. So I was like, hell yeah, this is the best time to do it.
Yeah,
I'm
you are
leaving.
you're the exception, so I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're not proving my predetermined point. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, there I'd say about 1 out of every 15 or 12 guys is going to be like Jared that just says, I am ready and giver. But most of the guys are just like Adam. They sit on the fence for a very long time. So, Adam, Drew, your worries, were they valid?
I think at the time they were, but I mean, with the whole cohort program and like kind of the coaching and stuff, I think everybody or like S2B does a pretty good job of like kind of placating those fears. So,
Adam?
No, I mean, I was worried that I wasn't going to have enough time. I was worried that it wouldn't work, and clearly I had enough time and it worked. So no, the fears were completely unfounded.
So then, again, we're asking this question for the third time. What advice do you have for guys who are sitting on the fence and trying to make up their mind about joining a muscle building program? They want to, but they're just having so much trouble making the leap.
Just
Not
do
all
it.
at once.
Just do it. You won't be sorry. Just trust the system.
Reassure that person who's sitting there going, yeah, it was easy for you, but my circumstance is different.
You're not a special snowflake, despite what they tell you in kindergarten.
Oh, the tough love came from somebody besides me.
Yes. I mean, we all went through it at the start. Everyone's asking all these questions. They're like, oh, I've got this happening, or I got this happening. And what was the same message you delivered to us all the time? Trust the program. This works across all lifestyles, all life situations. Just follow the rules. I mean, they tell it to you at the start. And, you check in, do your workout, do your habit, read your assignment. That is it. It can't get any simpler than that.
You want to add to that, Adam, before I make my speech?
I'd only say that, like I said, that this year was busier than any other year. I moved twice. I was promoted once. My wife is expecting shortly, and there's some other calamity.
You lose track of them after a while. Life continued to happen.
Well, and the fact of the matter is I work 60 to 70 hours a week every week, and I made it happen. So can you.
The truth of the matter is I can completely understand everybody's grinding uncertainty because it is common to everyone. Again, there are the occasional weirdos like Jared who can just sort of make the leap, but it is generally terrifying and just paralyzing. But again, Jared is right. This is the same for everybody. It is okay to feel that way, but it's not an excuse, and it's not a sufficient reason, because everyone who's done the program has been pummeled by life events. Everyone who's done the program has been pummeled with the same uncertainty and the same workload. It can be done. And once you're in it, you realize, holy mackerel, I have all this capacity that I didn't think I had to. Nothing grinds my gears quite so much as a dad of 5, married, with a professional career where I am responsible for other people and get calls off hours, to hear some single, childless, 20-something young dude at the beginning of his career tell me, I'm too busy. Their words to me are, I can't do it because I'm too busy. And I just feel like saying, no, you're really not, So what do you think about this whole idea about wrong habits? I'm going to introduce that idea. So these guys that are coming into the program with these worries, these fears, is there anything that you think that they need to consider surrendering or reconsidering, or is there anything that you can say to make it help for them to make that leap? I saw her, but nobody else did.
I'm sorry.
So no. Getting back to the final question, is there anything that you think you could say to sort of calm some of these fears, or to tell them that this thing that you're feeling, here's why, and here's why you don't have to worry about it? Nope, I stumped everybody.
Yeah.
Ken, what do you mean by wrong habits?
Yeah, that confused me too.
Sorry, maybe I should call it wrong thinking, or like if you were to write down if your year-old self, or Adam in your case, for those 6 years, was to write down all the reasons why you just can't make this work, and then you were to look at those same reasons now, what could you have told yourself back then to have, relaxed yourself and made the decision more easy?
Yeah, sure. So I think like a lot of guys in the program, I did a lot of fitness reading and not a lot of fitness doing. So I always had this Drew used the term analysis by paralysis. I was worried about whether or not I was doing the right things instead of just doing anything. And I mean, Jared touched on that as well. So I would say, at least for me, the type of guy that I am, I need to focus less on what accumulating knowledge and more on accumulating time under the bar and working with my knife and fork. Just
Gold.
doing simple stuff that actually works.
Pure gold. There's an entire self-help book in those last 30 seconds. Anyone else want to add to that?
No, I think Adam's got it.
All right. We are clocking in at just over 30 minutes, so I'm going to try and wrap this up. Are there any other parting thoughts or observations you guys want to make, or words of advice for people at the beginning, middle, or end of these programs that you think that you won the hard way that you could pass on? Too broad a question.
No.
Just put your head down and get it done.
Yeah. Keep at it.
I think what Ken said. You have more capacity than you think you do.
Yeah. Everyone's afraid. Everyone thinks that somehow their circumstances are insurmountably different. What is going to get you through it is getting help and support. This is impossible by yourself. Impossible. Everyone seems to think that this is something that they should be able to shoulder entirely on their own. It can't be done. Which is why Scrawny to Brawny and Lean Eating are so very successful, is because the two of the three pillars are community and mentorship, right? And those are both about groups and people. So I want to thank all three of you for agreeing to do this on your Friday night for no reason other than the betterment of your fellow dudes out there, muscleheads in arms who might maybe benefit from your experience. So thank you, Jared. You can say goodbye now.
Thank you very much, guys. It's nice chatting.
Thank you, Drew.
Yeah, thanks.
And the big winner who kept us all waiting for 20 minutes, Adam.
Stand by for technical difficulties.
Yeah. It was a pleasure, gentlemen. So on that note, I will say good night and till next time.